Welcome to Fringe Fanatics with Chad Lee and Chris Zane.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. It is Fringe Fanatics, episode 86. I am Chris Zane.
And I am Chad Lee. Thanks for tuning in.
Look at him over there. That's Chad Lee. Yes. Thank you for tuning in. We greatly appreciate it. It's been a rip-roaring week. We've had a lot going on.
It's been Hell Week.
Yeah. Basically, yeah.
Pretty
you
much.
could call it Hell Week now.
Yeah. No offense to the Navy SEALs or anything like that, but man, it has been a wild week. We just got off work. We got right up to the studio, which is what we could call this, because we got a guest to call pretty much any minute now. So the show's going to be running a little bit differently tonight. We're going to do it a little bit backwards. We are having on, we previewed it, if you caught our last little half episode.
Yeah.
Justin Graver from Music City Audible, used to be the producer for Around the NFL podcast.
Yep.
And after we do that interview, then we'll get into kind of the rest of the episode that we normally do.
Yeah, we're going to basically, run it backwards. I mean, we're going to do the second half of the show as the first half and vice versa.
Yeah,
I had to say that just because I needed to switch to my camera real quick.
Oh, there you go.
There we go. All right,
Justin is out in San Diego.
Beautiful, beautiful San Diego.
I believe it means a whale's vagina.
Yes. And that can't get us demonetized because that is a technical,
it is a technical
term.
Anatomical term.
Yeah,
very true. So, guys, without further ado, let's try to give him a call.
Let's get into it. Let's give him a jingle jangle.
Oh, thank God for smelling salts, man.
There we go.
Let's hope this works.
Hello.
What's up, Justin? How's it going, man? This is Chris with Fringe Fanatics, and we got Chad over here on the other side.
What's up, man?
How's it going, fellas?
It's going good, man. Yeah, go ahead and take it, Chris.
Oh, no, I'm just saying, we're pretty psyched to have you on. I mean, we both listen to you. Chad's listened to you a lot more than I have, but he got me onto you guys a few years ago, and it was cool listening to you guys on ATN, and now it's sweet that you've gone on, and now you're doing your own thing, which is really cool. But, yeah, we're psyched to have you on, man.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm happy to be here. Thanks for reaching out.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, well, I saw we've been having different guests on from different teams and everything like that. I'm the Chiefs fan. He's the Broncos fan. And after about 50 or 60 episodes, we kind of were like, man, we don't want to pigeonhole ourselves into just this. We need to get other guests on there kind of in different of these teams. And then when I saw and was seeing all of the free agency moves that was accumulating down there in Tennessee, I was like, I'm fascinated. I need to talk to somebody about this. And, of course, you guys got my boy Sneed down there, so I want to talk to you about that, man.
Okay, sounds good. Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it. So, when you guys got a bunch of free agency moves like Calvin Ridley and L'Jarius Sneed, I mean, tell me what you're thinking there, man.
I think that the Titans sort of said, look, we got a lot of cap space. We have a quarterback on a rookie deal. Whether or not he ends up being the guy, let's go find out. Let's see if he can be the guy. So the ownership, the GM who's in his second year now, new head coach, they said, let's go remake this team in the image of our new coordinators, our new coach, see what this second-year GM can do in a more of a spotlight position, whereas in his first year, I think he was a little overshadowed by Vrabel. There was a lot of questions throughout the season about, a sort of internal struggle over whether the team should look to rebuild and put an eye towards the future, or if they should try to maximize the end of the Tannehill-Henry window. Last season, they tried sort of splitting that and going both avenues, and obviously that didn't work at all. So this year, they took a new approach. They said, let's go all in. Let's spend the money we have. They identified some high-profile targets like Sneed, like Calvin Ridley, like Lloyd Cushenberry on the offensive line, and spent a lot of money to revamp the roster. And I think it's sort of being underrated across the national media that covers the NFL. Sort of like, what can this Titans team be? What's the floor now that you've added so much talent? That I think the floor is a lot higher than people would have thought. So Calvin Ridley, that move sort of came, Rand Carthon, GM, has talked a lot about how that move materialized, and it wasn't really in their plans when they sat down in, January, February and said, what are we going to do this offseason? Adding Calvin Ridley wasn't really on the list. That sort of materialized when they I think they missed out on bringing back Nico Autry. There's some thought that maybe Azeez Al-Shire, the linebacker who also went to Houston, was, part of this decision, not being able to retain him either. They said, we got more money now than we planned to because we thought we were going to spend it elsewhere. Calvin Ridley is not signed back in Jacksonville yet. Can we make a run at him? And they obviously did and succeeded there. And then with L'Jarius Sneed, there were rumblings about that for probably a month before it happened. A week before free agency started, there was rumblings on that. And I don't think there was a position group that needed a clear and obvious upgrade for the Titans more than the cornerback room. And offensive line is debatable too, but they made moves there as well. But that cornerback room, the Titans pass defense the last couple of years has been very, very poor. And, despite investing lots of high picks at that position group, Caleb Farley in the first round, Roger McCreary in the second round, obviously it hasn't worked out with Farley with the injuries and some off-field, personal tragedies that he's gone through. Titans said, let's finally make this room a strength, to take it from a weakness to a strength. As L'Jarius Sneed, I think they've done both of those things, and now it's sort of on Will Levis and Brian Callahan to maximize the talent that they've added around them.
Yeah, and you could just tell, there's been a clear cut decision to go and make and fill holes that they had with you mentioning, offensive line. Clearly, head coach Brian Callahan and GM Rand Carthen were set out to fix the O-line from J.C. Latham at 7 in the draft, bookending the left side or bringing in a former Bronco and Cushenberry at center. They were definitely focused on fixing the trenches. There's also a battle going on the other side of the offensive line. Am I correct?
That is true. The right side of the offensive line is a pretty big mystery. Lots of question marks there. Who's going to start at right guard and right tackle? The incumbent starter, if you will, Daniel Brunskill, who started most of the season at right guard last year, started every game he was healthy there at right guard. Doesn't really seem to be in the mix right now for the starting job based on the reports coming out of OTAs and minicamp. He's not running with the first team. He's out there, he's healthy, but he's not the first guy out at right guard. And then at right tackle, I think is even a bigger mystery because the guy running with the first team right now is a former undrafted free agent, now in his second year, John Ojukwu. But it's hard to say what that really means because former third-round pick Nicholas Petit-Frere, who started at right tackle his rookie season, dealt with the gambling suspension last year, came back from that and got injured almost immediately, so barely played last year, didn't play well when he was on the field. He's still rehabbing from his injury and working back from that, so he's not on the field right now. So it's hard to say who's leading the right tackle battle, who's really leading the right guard battle. It might appear to be free agent acquisition Sadiq Charles, who probably not a household name by any stretch, not a guy that many people would be familiar with. So it's interesting to see just how much this revamped offensive line, how big of a step forward can they take. Obviously, you hope that J.C. Latham is a huge upgrade at left tackle. All indications are that he's going to be a great player. Was reportedly Bill Callahan's favorite offensive lineman or maybe favorite player in this entire draft class, which says a lot given Bill Callahan's history and his reputation as a great offensive line coach. Obviously, the upgrade at center is massive with Lloyd Cushenberry. You go from a smaller, undersized guy who was athletic and good in the run game in Aaron Brewer, who signed a big free agent deal with the Miami Dolphins this offseason. You go from him to a mammoth man in Lloyd Cushenberry, who's arguably a top 5, if not top 3 center in the NFL right now, especially Jason Kelce retires, so he gets bumped up another peg on that list. I don't think that upgrade can be understated. It's just massive. The anchor of your offensive line, the pivot point in the middle there, guy who calls out the protections, guys who make sure, the rest of the offensive line is on the same page. Having an experienced player who has proven success like Lloyd Cushenberry is huge. So from left tackle all the way over to center, and then for people not familiar, non-Titans fans out there, Peter Skoronski, former first-round pick at left guard, showed lots of promise as a rookie and has come back bigger and stronger this offseason after dealing with an appendectomy that caused him to lose a lot of muscle mass and strength in the middle of last year. So you feel great about left tackle to center. But then right guard and right tackle is anybody's guess. I mean, those could be the 2 worst starters at right guard and right tackle in the NFL. They could be middle of the pack average, probably somewhere in between. I don't expect those 2, that part of the offensive line to be higher than, average level across the NFL. But it's definitely going to be interesting to see, can Bill Callahan work with that side of the field and make sure that side of the line is up to snuff and can play at a high level. Because if not, that's going to be, your weakest point possibly on the entire roster. So it's going to be a huge question mark who wins those positions and how well they can actually play. Is it a case where the Titans will try someone else midway through the year because the right guard is just not working or whatever it is? So that's probably one of the more fascinating areas of this Titans team right now.
You mentioned Bill Callahan. How's that kind of playing out now with the father-son duo, kind of, coaching in tandem, so to speak?
Telling his dad what to do.
Yeah. Yeah. Brian Callahan has talked a lot about it on different media appearances. He was on the Athletic Football Show for a long time. He was on Taylor Lewan and Will Compton's podcast, Bussin' with the Boys, talking about that dynamic. And by all accounts, it seems like they couldn't be happier working together. Brian Callahan has sort of joked that like he doesn't really tell his dad what to do. His dad has seen and done everything in this league, and like even if he wasn't his dad, he would feel a little out of place telling him what to do as a first-time head coach, where Bill Callahan not only is maybe the best offensive line coach in the history of the league, but he's been a head coach. He's been an interim head coach. Like, he's been in the same position. So Brian Callahan has said like he sort of lets his dad do what he does best, and he's implemented some things on the practice field that Titans fans haven't really seen before. I don't know how famous his custom sleds are outside of the markets where he's coached before, but he's designed these blocking sleds that are so different from the typical sled most teams are using, that they weigh 300 pounds. You have to strike them at exactly the right leverage point, or they don't slide across the field. Yeah, so that's a really cool thing, and there's been a lot more emphasis from the players' perspective. I mean, they're cagey with their answers. They won't come out and say like, "Oh, this is massively different, and our previous coaching was not good compared to this." They're not going to talk like that, but you can kind of see some indications from the player, interviews on the practice field after an OTA session or whatever, where they're talking about how we feel like what we're learning, these techniques that we're honing in on, really translate to what we're going to have to do in a game, whereas a lot of the time when Keith Carter was the offensive line coach under most of Mike Vrabel's tenure, he's now up in New York, was they would work for hours on, like a combo block, climbing to the next level, but not focus on the actual techniques of executing that block. And just little details like that I think Bill Callahan, his track record speaks for itself, but you can really see it coming together on the field They've also spoken about how, like, when we got out here 8 weeks ago for the first OTA session, like, we couldn't move these sleds. Like, we didn't understand how the techniques worked, but the progress they've made over this short amount of time has been noticeable. And so I think, as a biased Titans fan and someone who covers the team, I'm extremely optimistic about what Bill Callahan can do with this offensive line. And I don't think it can be overstated how significant that can be for the whole offense. The Titans, by a few metrics and some composite metrics, had the 28th, 29th, 30th rated offensive line last year, like bottom 5, bottom 3 offensive line. If they can just go to an average blocking unit, go to middle of the pack in the league, I think that'll make a huge difference. Brian Callahan spent, 5 years in Cincinnati, never had a good offensive line. Went to the Super Bowl with, I think, the 27th, 28th ranked offensive line by a lot of metrics. So if he can do that in Cincinnati, imagine what he might be able to do in Tennessee if the offensive line does become a strength. Obviously, they got to put it together on the field, but just on paper, it looks like that could be a huge swing. Similar to the cornerback room, you take a huge team deficiency and turn it into a strength, and suddenly that can paper over maybe some weaker spots on the team.
Yeah, it's not just Snead over there, too. You guys got a Woozier, man. I mean, that guy was really good on Cincinnati. He had a little bit of a tough year last year, but I feel like the year before that, if they could bring him back to 2 years ago on that level, I mean, with both those guys bookending each side of the field, I mean, you're going to have to try to get in the middle of the field, but then you got Kenneth Murray there, too. So, I mean, I think they have that's why I was so fascinated by the Titans, because I just don't feel like they're being talked about enough. They made some really good draft picks. Then, they went out and they've made all of these moves, which I just feel like they're kind of like flying under the radar right now. To talk to your point with the right side of the line, I think the best optimism is that these two factors here, the fact that Bill Callahan took that Browns offensive line last year that was injured on so many different levels and was still an excellent offensive line. And I don't know how he was able to scrap it together, but I think it has a lot to do with his coaching and like everything that you just mentioned. And then the other factor, you got J.C. Latham. He was a kid that was built in a laboratory at IMG. Not a lot of people, everybody knows he went to Alabama, but he also went to IMG. I mean, it seems like those kids, anybody who goes there, more than 95%, they're going to be a star.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they've put a first-round draft pick into the NFL, I think, 5 years in a row or something like that. J.J. McCarthy this year was another one who went in the first round from IMG Academy. And, yeah, looking at Bill Callahan's track record, I mean, he took the Browns' offensive line. The year before he got there, PFF had them rated as the 23rd best offensive line. His first year coaching them, everyone mostly stayed healthy that year. They were the number 1 offensive line in football. And all 4 years, like you mentioned, lots of injuries. 2021, they dealt with injuries. Conklin missed a lot of time. Jedrick Wills missed a lot of time. 2023, they were playing fourth stringers at tackle spots and guard. Like, so many injuries. They've been top 8 every year under Bill Callahan.
I don't
First
know how he does
in 2020, second in 2022. I don't know how he does it either, but it definitely gives a lot of optimism for Titans fans. I think they are being overlooked. Are they going to be a Super Bowl contender this year? Probably not. But I think they can compete for the AFC South. I think they can be, one of those teams that it's week 14, 15, 16, and they're on the in the hunt graphics that you see on the TV on Sundays looking at who's going to make the playoffs. So I think ultimately when you talk about the Titans' outlook for 2024, it really hinges on Will Levis. Like, if Will Levis is that dude that, if he is as good as Titans fans hope he can be, Brian Callahan has said all the right things about working with him and the kind of fire he has and will and dedication to be great and the work ethic and all those things, which is said about every young quarterback before they've proven if they're good or not good. So you have to take all of it with a grain of salt. But if he is that guy, the Titans, there's no reason the Titans shouldn't be a playoff team in 2024. And if he's not that guy, then you reset and you look to find that guy for 2025 and you hope the roster is sort of in place for whoever that person is to come in and take over and hit the ground running.
Hey, and if he does lead him to the playoffs, I think I'm going to start putting mayo in my coffee. I mean, he might be onto something there.
And plus, usually the people always do have a little bump from the whole sex tape releasing thing, so you never know.
That was pretty wild.
Usually stuff comes out like that, and then good things happen. Case in point, the Kardashians.
Yeah, Will Levis is a firecracker. I definitely think you got something there, man. And, this is your first year without Derrick Henry in, 9 years? Am I right? Is that right?
Yeah, 2016 was the year he was drafted, so yeah.
So Tony Pollard's there
Henry,
now.
Tony Pollard brought in free agency. Tajay Spears drafted last year, I think in the 3rd round, if I'm not mistaken. And I think it's definitely going to be a different Titans team than we're used to seeing. I mean, there's been pass rate on first down charts floated around by people who study that analytics side of things, and the Titans are almost always at the bottom of that early down pass rate. I think they were 32nd in the league last year. The Bengals under Brian Callahan have routinely been at the top of those lists, not as high as Kansas City, but right behind them. I mean, I think they were 2nd last year in early down pass rate. And look, this is going to sound a little blasphemous. So before I say what I'm going to say, I have to, put a disclaimer out there. Derrick Henry is a franchise legend. He's one of the 3 or 4 best players to ever put on a Titans uniform.
Yeah.
He had a dominant
There's
run
no
as
doubt
the
about
best running back
Yeah.
in football for, multiple years. Who knows, that he could have had back-to-back 2,000-yard seasons if he didn't break his foot in 2022. So, yes, you can't say enough good things about Derrick Henry. At the same time, I am pretty excited to see what I would call a modern offense in Nashville, a team that is not built just around the running game where, in all the Titans' playoff losses under Mike Vrabel, the year they went to the AFC Championship in 2019, the year they lost to the Ravens in the first round, the year they lost to the Bengals in the first round as the number 1 overall seed in the AFC, all those losses had one thing in common. The opponent shut down Derrick Henry, and the rest of the offense could not compensate for it.
So true.
So you take away that dependence on one player to be the engine of your offense, and as much fun as it was watching Derrick Henry rip off 99, 94-yard touchdown, 75-yard touchdown runs, like when it's not working, it kills everything that you have that the offense can be. So I'm kind of excited to see like what is a Titans offense that isn't super predictable going to look like, that doesn't rely on one player's success to be a good offense. Like, I'm very excited to see how that plays out. You got two guys in the backfield now who are, pretty similar players in terms of their build, in terms of their strengths. They can both run between the tackles decently, well enough to carry your offense that way. They're great when they get out in space. They're both good pass catchers. They're both good pass protectors. And then you get in a situation where with Derrick Henry and Tajay Spears, if Derrick Henry is in the backfield, the defense is expecting run. If Tajay Spears is in the backfield, defense is probably expecting pass. And then, of course, that wasn't the case every time. Tajay Spears had nearly 100 carries last year, but that still was a general theme, was like it's sort of predictable based on the personnel on the field. Well, that's not the case with Tony Pollard and Tajay Spears because those guys are almost interchangeable. So you put those two guys in the backfield, doesn't matter who's on the field. You could run, you could pass, play action, whatever you want. The whole menu is available to you. So I think it's just going to be such a different look, and people aren't going to be ready for the Titans not being this ground and pound bully ball type of team. They're going to be a lot more, attacking through the air, which is going to be just refreshing to see as a fan.
Oh, I can only imagine, man. There's a lot to be excited there for, and on the same token, I felt the same way when the Chiefs lost Tyreek Hill. I was definitely very wary of what it was going to look like, but when you have that player that everybody focuses on, and then when it becomes more of a complete offense where the balls get spread around, you can get excited about it. And then look what happened to the Chiefs whenever, they lost him, the ball spread around. So I'm hope to see the same thing for the Titans because, there's times when we face the Titans, not so much we, but I feel like I was out there, part of it maybe. But yeah, it's basically you shut down Derrick Henry and then, that was kind of it. But, I really think there's a lot there with Spears. You got Calvin Ridley there. And I just saw a notification yesterday. The Titans came out and said that Treylon Burks has to step up on special teams this year in order to make a splash and try to make that 53-man roster.
Yeah, and that's kind of making headlines too because Treylon Burks has, before that came out the other day, Treylon Burks was sort of getting some buzz as like a guy that everyone was high on in the building, and he's surpassed our expectations thus far. I think Nick Holtz, the coordinator, said that on Wednesday, even the same day that the quote about needing to play special teams came out. But when the Titans signed Tyler Boyd, it was like, we know Treylon Burks' ceiling, barring injury in this offense, is wide receiver 4. And that's if he beats out Nick Westbrook-Akina, who's not a dynamic player, but he's a reliable veteran who knows what spots to be in. That's if he beats out, they drafted a 6th-round rookie this year, Jaquan Jackson. Obviously, 6th-round pick, no lock to make the roster, of course, but there's competition for that wide receiver 4 spot. So Treylon Burks wasn't going to be someone that the offense relied upon anyway. And, any coach, you listen to any press conference about bubble players in the league, every coach is going to say, well, if he wants a spot on game day, he's got to play special teams. Like, that goes for basically every starter at a skill position across the league. So I wasn't really surprised by that. I do think Burks is in a bit of a make or break season.
Yeah,
the problem with that for him is that he's not going to get that much opportunity. Now, one thing that might be underrated a little bit is the Titans have, I think, the oldest top trio of wide receivers in the NFL. Like Boyd is 30, Hopkins and Ridley's 30, Hopkins is 31, 32. He's over 30. They're all over 30, right? So does that mean that they're not going to play as high a percentage of snaps as, say, like a Jamar Chase or Justin Jefferson would? Garrett Wilson, these young guys that are really good, probably playing a lot more snaps than the Titans receivers who are, in their 30s, and you got to preserve them. If you think you really are a playoff team, you got to preserve them for the course of a 17-game season and the playoffs. Then maybe there is some opportunity for Treylon Burks. If someone gets hurt, there's definitely opportunity for Treylon Burks. But he's got to prove that he can be trusted as the outside X receiver, as the flanker Z receiver, and as the slot receiver. He's got to prove that he can be trusted to come on the field at any role, given, any given game situation, or when somebody needs a breather, or if somebody tweaks something and has to sit on the sideline for a couple series. Like, if he can't prove that he's reliable to play all 3 spots, then it will be someone else who comes in. It will be, Kyle Phillips in the slot and Nick Westbrook-Akina on the outside. It won't be Treylon Burks. So that plus the special teams role, he definitely has to prove that he deserves to be active on game days and can contribute outside of that wide receiver slot to even be given a chance to contribute as a wide receiver. And I think one of the reasons the Titans did go out and add Calvin Ridley and then added Tyler Boyd is because they're not going into this season banking on any contribution from Treylon Burks. Anything he gives them is gravy. It's not to be expected. But I did think that the quote from Nick Holtz today that Treylon Burks has surpassed expectations thus far was kind of funny, because it's like, what were the expectations for him? It could not have been very high.
That's a good point, man. That's such a good point. Well, Justin, dude, I'm really grateful. I love all the insight that you provide for us. This is all everything we wanted to know about the Titans. I don't want to keep you too long or anything like that, but I would feel guilty if I didn't kind of fanboy out and at least kind of like ask you a couple questions here. Dude, you were on the Around the NFL podcast. I've listened to that podcast for 9 years probably. It's been emotional too, because got really attached to those guys, listened to them every 3 or 4 days, multiple weeks. It was really hard when we lost Wes and everything. But I got to ask you, how was it working with those guys? And you filled in for Ricky Hollywood. That was some big shoes to fill as well.
Yeah, that was probably one of the best experiences of my career, is working with those guys. Like, they're so fun. They're so passionate about football, but they're always lighthearted too. And also they demand a lot out of you. Like, they demand the best. They are, they didn't get to where they are as one of the top NFL podcasts because they're okay with not being great, right? So as much as it was fun and awesome to work with them, they also pushed me to be a better producer, which I really appreciated. And, I still see those guys. We go out for a drink or for a meal every now and then, and it's great to catch up with them. And I can't say enough good things about Erica, or as the fans know her, Ricky Hollywood, who really took me under her wing. She fought for me to get the position at NFL Media as a podcast producer, just based on my resume and based on like my Twitter videos and stuff that I was doing for fun in my spare time. And then she really took me under her wing, and she had been looking for someone to fill her shoes, because she had been the producer for 4 or 5 years when I got there, and she was, ready for the next step in her own career, but she didn't want to leave the guys high and dry. So she was looking for that next producer that she knew she could trust to hand the keys over. And I remember after I got hired at NFL Media, after a couple of months of working with her, she started telling people she was close to, like, he's the one. He's the chosen one that's going to free me from this and allow me to continue to progress in my career. And I can never thank her enough for giving me the opportunity to work on that show, to teach me everything she knew, and then hand the reins over. So I'm forever appreciative to Ricky Hollywood and to those guys, because I wouldn't be where I am today producing the NFL on Fox podcast at Fox Sports if it wasn't for the opportunity they gave me.
That's awesome, man. I really could appreciate that as well. I'm glad that she kind of got you on there, because I always loved when you hear that Gravedigger and then you get a little segment on the Titans and everything, man. Yeah, that was good. And, in a very small, humble way, I also owe them a lot of credit too, because, we first started this because our girlfriends got tired of us sending long texts to each other back and forth talking about sports. They were like, why don't you guys just talk about it on a podcast or something? So listening to that podcast for so long kind of inspired us to do our own little garage kind of project as well. So hats off to them, and I'm glad that you were their producer.
A little background on the Gravedigger drop, if you wanted, I could tell.
Please do.
Great story.
Funny to me, at least. So the first time that Dan brought me on, like the first time I was filling in, Ricky was on a vacation or something, and so it was just me on the podcast. I remember this because not only did I get to produce the podcast, but we did a segment that the network wanted to use for some programming, like on TV. And it was like predicting season-long award winners, like MVP and those types of things.
Uh-huh.
And they brought me in to tee them up, like so that Dan didn't have to play host, so he could actually answer the questions.
on the whim.
On
the whim.
And like the first time he said it, it was the Undertaker, and then the next time it was Gravedigger, which I guess like
both cool nicknames.
There's a similar they are. There's a similar like sense of like impending doom for both of those. But they're not the same name at all.
No.
And then Dan found this really old monster truck commercial on YouTube where they introduced the Gravedigger truck and was like, "I need you to clip out these 4 seconds of Gravedigger here, and we're going to play this every time you're introduced on the show. And if you have something to say, if you want to jump in, just play the drop, and we'll bring you
know
in."
you're coming.
That's
and,
awesome,
Gravedigger.
Probably, if you listened for a while when I was first starting, it did take me a bit to get used to the idea of like, I'm going to play this drop before I start talking.
Yeah.
There's definitely times they were like, "You didn't play it. You got to hit it." I remember that, man.
Is someone talking? Did you guys hear something?
Yeah.
You can play the drop before I start talking. Yeah, so really fun times working on that show.
Oh,
That's
so
awesome,
cool, man. Yeah, well, the Music City Audible is doing great. You know, I've definitely listened to a few episodes as far as like definitely trying to like brush up on like my Titans before we had you on and everything like that. And I mean, man, you guys got it going on there. You're a great insider. Seems like you're really tuning in on what's going on at OTAs right now. So, man, like hats off to you, dude. I'm really looking forward to, we're following you now on Twitter, so we're excited to see what's going on. And speaking of the Gravedigger, we do a thumbnail for each one of our YouTube videos.
Gonna have to use the Gravedigger.
Can we throw in the Gravedigger for like your little cut screen, maybe?
Absolutely.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah.
Well, Justin, we really appreciate having you on. It's super cool to talk to somebody who's been a producer of one of the biggest NFL podcasts around. Now you've got your own stuff, so we greatly appreciate you giving us some time out of your night and hopping on. And it would be great maybe if once the season gets going on, if maybe we can once we get to like the quarter way of the season or something, if you're not too busy, have you hop on again and kind of talk some more shop.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm down whenever you guys want me. I really appreciate it again. Thanks for having me on. It's been great.
Yeah, of course, man. I hope the Titans do well, and I'm really excited to see what happens there. You got my boy Sneed, so I hope he's another lockdown corner there for you.
Yeah, I hope so too. I hope the knee's all right and he's not.
Yeah,
it's gonna be fine.
It's the only thing. Yeah,
yeah, he'll be good. Yeah, definitely. He's a good dude.
He'll be good.
All right, Justin, man, you have a great night. Thanks again, and we'll be in touch.
All right, sounds good. You guys have a great night as well.
Thanks a lot,
man.
Justin. Take care.
Bye. I kind of hung up on him before you said bye. I'm bad about that.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's okay.
I think he was about to say goodbye, but Justin, thank you. Goodbye.
Yeah. We'll shoot him a message and say I got happy trigger finger there.
That's all good. Yeah. Oh,
So,
great interview.
Yeah,
That was
another
awesome.
great interview. That was super cool. Great to have him on. Yeah, that was sweet. I definitely would like to have him on again and talk a little bit more about just producing and stuff, but that would be more of my own thing. So
Yeah, you might have to like DM on the
Yeah.
on the low for that, kind of, and check him out, pick his brain a little bit.
Yeah, definitely.
But dude, I really am. I mean, I am not fronting one bit. I am really. When it was like a month or two ago, you start seeing some of these free agency signings from the Titans, and then when I looked it up and I'm like, they signed a lot of guys. I don't know how they had the cap space for this. I'm sure like getting rid of Derrick Henry helped a lot, but I really feel like they're flying under the radar. I'm making an early little hot take, if you will, but I think they're going to take the AFC South.
Yeah,
And that's with the Texans in the AFC South.
yeah. I would like to see them do good as well. At this point, the Broncos are not going to do pretty well at all. They're probably going to be like a 5 to 6 win.
Dude,
team
your
at this
faith is blowing me away, man.
I don't have
gotta
good faith. point. This isn't
gotta
George
have-
Michaels.
Hallelujah. You got to have faith. Faith.
Sing it, man.
You don't want to hear me sing. I think we want to hear Mr. Joshua Timmons sing.
Yes.
I think that's what we want to hear.
So Joshua Timmons is the son of our boss, Mr. Dave Timmons, who we both appreciate greatly. Dave's quite the character, and
he's awesome.
Yeah, he's got his own personality, but when he likes you in his own way.
A good way to describe him is if Ron Swanson was a biker.
Yeah, that's a pretty good.
I think
way
it is.
Yeah.
But Dave is super musically gifted. Plays the drums really well. I've seen him live. And then what's really badass is he's kind of passed this along to his son, who can play the guitar, I think drums and keyboard. And then like a couple months ago, he told us and he posted about this song that his son recorded, Josh. With his band, Josh wanted me to make sure. He actually texted me. I don't need to tell you about this. No, you didn't. But he said to make sure it's the band's called Heart Attack.
No, the record 44.
Record 44.
The name of the song is
Heart Attack. I get that mixed up, but yes, the band is Record 44. Mm-hmm. He said give them credit for it, and so they posted this song. They recorded it, and I checked it out, and I was really surprised. I mean, I just didn't know what to expect because I'd never heard it before, and I was like, wow, this is really good.
Yeah, it is really good. It's a good rockin' tune, and I think he recorded everything but the drums. I think somebody else recorded the drums on this track, but
I think that was it.
Nonetheless, he's 19, and again, he recorded all what you hear. I think keyboards, bass, guitar, vocals, and it's pretty good. Yeah. And we're going to play it. It's kind of a little special thing because we're only featuring the one song this week. When he gets more recorded, we'll feature him again. But the rest will be Tough Bluff the rest of this month.
That's right. Yeah. So it'll be a special week for you guys.
You've got record 44, and the name of the song is Heart Attack. And you can find it on YouTube right now. So make sure to go and check it out. We will be right back.
Every time I see you, it seems that I get flashback to the hour. Every little second, every minute. Oh, I don't know how you did it. I don't know how you did it. But I want you so bad, and I know I'll never make it back. Ooh, baby, you're my little heart attack. I wanna take it all back, but we're both too gone for that. Ooh, baby, you're my little heart attack. With my mind, when I get flashback to the hour, every little second, every minute. Oh, I know how you did it. Oh, I know how you did it. But I want you so bad, and I know I'll never make it back. Ooh, baby, you're my little heart attack. I wanna take it all back, but we're about to gone with that. Ooh, baby, you're my little heart attack. Novocaine. Well, every time I see your pretty face, it gives a shock to my brain. Yeah, everything you do and every little thing you say, it fries me to the core. I don't wanna be apart, I don't wanna be apart from you anymore. But I want you so bad, and I know I'll never make it back. Ooh, baby, you're my little heart attack. I wanna take it all back, but I'm up to gone for that. Ooh, baby, you're my little heart attack. Ooh, baby, you're my little heart attack. Ooh, baby, you're my little heart attack.
And we are back for the second half of episode 86. We're at 86, Chad. Can you believe it?
86,
You're
man.
barely in frame. He can't even believe it. He had to lean all the way back out of his dang old chair, man.
I'm asking the bartender for another drink if you don't mind.
Yeah.
I'm into Margs now. I'm
Yeah.
into tequila. So
He is.
I've
He's drinking straight just margs all the time.
made with real tequila. I've reached out to you, Cutwater. Just get back to me, and we will talk about you even more.
Yeah, no. And then, Good
put it
Boy
at the wrong
Vodka, Voodoo Ranger,
Yep.
anybody, Jack Daniels,
Dude, send us $10. Just send us $10, okay?
this nondescript bottle of smelling
Smelling
salts.
salts. Yeah,
Get at us.
We'll do it on air. Oh fuck, I'll do it right now. Let's fucking get into it.
Let's do it. We're past
Yep.
10 minutes. I don't think we curse for the first 30 minutes because we're really good in interviews about not cursing.
Yeah, I don't know why that is, but it just feels like
I
I,
think
want
we
to
just
be
go
proper.
all respectful.
I know.
And then now we're getting bigger.
That's how you do it right there.
I guess I'll do one. But
You
know,
got to.
you're getting these bigger and better guests.
I can't believe it,
And,
man. Gravedigger. That's
I mean,
fucking
again,
awesome.
like I said, I want to pick his brain about just producing.
I
stuff.
really think you should just
Main
message
thing
him
I
like,
want to ask him, without being in the NFL, how do you get to use stuff? Because I did play some stuff. You'll see if you watch it. Just like clips of the Titans.
oh really?
But then something weird happened, and I cut back to it, and it was a black screen, and I was like, oh, no, that's not good. But you can still hear us.
Don't fuck it up, dude.
Yeah, no, that was super cool, dude.
I think you should definitely hit him up on it. I mean, dude,
yeah.
to produce obviously the tools and all the technology that he's got available on that podcast is a little different. Get after it.
Yeah, I mean, dude, if you look at what we're using, like,
Yeah.
it's...
I've got a Google Chromebook over here, guys,
Yeah, the nicest thing we have is the computer.
which is
and the
badass.
lights.
Thank you, Chris's dad.
Yeah, thank you, Dad.
But it's just you should definitely hit him up about it because to run a podcast on that level is just insane because of
Yeah.
all of the different sound bites that he has and everything. I mean, the sandwich props that he was talking about and stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
dude, I'm not kidding. That is. We've had a lot of guests on. That was pretty fucking cool. All of our guests have been great. I appreciate everyone we've had
Yeah.
on. But no, my plan is to get like a whiteboard, and we're gonna get like heads of each one of them
all of our guests.
corresponding to each one of them. Yeah, I've even reached out to some former WNBA players. Get at me because I want to talk about all the
we
drama
gotta
that's
talk
going
about
on.
the
There
drama
is some
mama.
drama happening in the WNBA, but I keep digressing. It is 86.
Yes,
I'm
let's
excited
get
about
into it.
this one. Hines Ward.
Mr. Hines Ward, which every time I hear his name makes me think of ketchup, even though it's spelled completely different.
It is, yeah. You got it. Dude, this guy was great.
Yeah.
Back when I used to play Madden religiously, I used the Steelers a lot. Hines Ward, Jerome Bettis, Ben Roethlisberger in his early
Bus.
days. Hines Ward was great. I don't even have any of his
Well,
stuff pulled
he's an
up.
American
I could
football coach and former player who is the wide receivers coach for Arizona State. He played wide receiver in the NFL after being selected by the Pittsburgh Steelers in the third round of the 1998 NFL Draft. He played college football for the Georgia Bulldogs. And he played his entire career for the Steelers and became the team's all-time leader in receptions, receiving yardage, and touchdown receptions. Ward was voted MVP of Super Bowl, 40? No, 30.
Oh, was it in Roman numerals?
Oh, dude.
that's
It
got to be
fucked
40.
me.
Because it's XL, that's got to be
Yeah.
40.
Dude, we're stupid.
No, I'm pretty
It's
sure
got to be 40, but now that you know how dumb we are. Upon his retirement, he was one of 11 NFL players who have at least 1,000 career receptions. He's often regarded as one of the best receivers of the 2000s as a whole and was one of the key figures of the Steelers' success during the 2000s. He's been in film, television, media, Dancing with the Stars, Dark Knight Rises, The Walking Dead, and then he was also on Football
crazy.
Night
I
in
never knew
America
about all
for
that.
3
That's
years.
fucking nuts, man.
I remember him. I think in The Dark Knight Rises, I thought he was one of the people on the football
Oh yeah,
team.
that I definitely remember.
took his
That was a
helmet off,
really
I thought.
cool. That was a cool part.
That
yeah.
was a cool part
You
of
just
that
like
movie.
spit tahini on your computer. There you go.
You son
I'm a
of
slob.
bitch.
One thing
But
that is really
Jack
cool.
of all trades. You know what I'm saying? Master
Korean.
of wide receiver.
Yeah, and Korean-born American football player. Was born in Seoul, South Korea, to a Korean mother and an African-American father. So, he immigrant parents. I think that's pretty fucking cool. And to me, one of the best quotes about Hines Ward, or not quotes, but just like personality traits about him, he was notorious for smiling. And he was asked about it. I mean, he would get lit up. Sometimes he would catch a ball, go across the middle, and just get lit up. And then he would still be smiling, get up. And afterwards, and then somebody would ask him, like, what is the deal with that? You're always smiling. He's like, dude, I'm playing football.
Yeah.
I'm just happy
How
to be
bad
out
could it
here.
be? Yeah.
Exactly. And I love that attitude, man. And two, like his drop rate, I mean, close to like Larry Fitzgerald status. I mean, I really think he's just right under Larry Fitzgerald. I mean, he all the time was catching the balls. Never, guy known for drops or anything like that. Did you already run through the awards and everything? Like,
I haven't yet. No,
All right.
but like, look at his NFL statistics. Receptions, 1,000.
It
Like we
ended
said,
on
just
right on 1,000. That is
which
nuts.
is nice. That's I would
Yeah.
feel really good about that.
That is really cool.
Receiving yards, 12,083. His average yards per reception, 12.1.
pretty good.
85 touchdowns.
Yep.
Let's start down the career highlights there, Chad.
All right, the career highlights: 2-time Super Bowl champion, like we said, Super Bowl 40, and then Super Bowl 43, Super Bowl MVP of Super Bowl 40, 3-time second-team All-Pro, 4-time Pro Bowl, Pittsburgh Steelers all-time team, and then he's in their Hall of Honor, Pittsburgh Pro Football Hall of Fame, first-team All-SEC, second-team All-SEC, just... goes down the
just a
list.
bunch
I
of
mean,
stuff.
when you think of the Steelers greats,
Just
you
a
got to
whole
include
bunch.
Hines Ward.
Yeah.
He's great.
You know what I'm surprised, though? Is he not in the Hall of Fame?
No, not yet. You would think he is. Hey, thank you. There's my
Hannah has
margarita.
arrived with
Very nice.
another.
Tony.
Need to get you in a bikini or something. Yeah,
We'll get you like an intro song.
that's awesome. Thank you.
So yeah, that was one thing that I found surprising. Not in the Hall of Fame with being a 2-time Super Bowl champion,
And he's definitely been retired for 5 years.
That's what
so-
I was saying.
Well, I know he's been talked about as like some of the guys that's been up for consideration. So I would imagine there's a couple others that you would think that would probably go before him. Maybe next year when Antonio Gates finally gets in, he'll get into.
Yeah, we'll see. But
let's move in.
yes, nonetheless, let's move on.
Chris, how was your weekend with the dogs?
It was good. Yes, we tried out some dogs.
You had a test
A
out.
trial.
Dude, this
A
to me,
trial
just
of
when you
dogs.
talked about this, just reminded me of like when parents will basically have a little play date with kids
Yeah.
that they potentially might adopt.
Oh, yeah. I don't know how that happens. But, yeah, we have some friends that their situation changed over COVID. They had an unplanned baby. And then now the 2 dogs, they have 4 total dogs, 2 Chihuahuas that are older, like 10 and 8. And then they have these 2 other dogs that are, like, it's a treeing walker coonhound.
That's nuts, man.
And
I don't know what that is.
And part beagle. And then the other one is boxer and French bulldog. So yeah, 2 months.
Cool.
But it was pretty good. It was our first time in over a year without having animals in the house, and it went pretty well. I was pretty surprised that they behaved as well as they did. Oh, Boston Terrier. Sorry. I
Oh, she
lied.
corrected you?
Yeah, she corrected me.
Idiot.
But yeah,
Nice.
so Boston Terrier, and
So it's looking like it's probably going to be a permanent thing, right?
yeah, it all went well. Seems like we're gonna be doing it.
So it's 2 dogs, right?
2 dogs.
Wow.
One does eat poop a little bit, so we're gonna combat that real quick.
Yeah.
But other than that,
Like poop in the house. You guys had to take care of that.
no pooping in the house. She ate it. I saw her eat it once, and I was like, "You don't do that."
Like outside?
Yeah.
Ate the poop? Ooh.
Yeah.
Man, dogs are nuts.
Dogs are nuts.
That's crazy.
But yeah, apparently that's something she kind of does. So I'm hoping we'll break her of that real quick.
Yeah.
I'll be picking up that poop right away. You're gonna be licking me? No poop mouth.
No.
Not doing it.
No way. Especially if you're going to be licking the face and stuff.
Yeah, and I do weird things with dog. You roll around with them.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
You get real close to our dogs. It's
yeah.
awesome.
But
Lovey-dovey.
so it'll be cool to have dogs again. Other than that, we finished watching Fallout. Really good.
Yeah. I plan on starting to
If you
soon.
haven't watched it, start
We
watching it.
watched the Kill Tony last night.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, I haven't gotten Marilyn to watching podcasts. I can just getting her to listen to them, and then
That's
comments
another
and things, which I'll probably see another comment.
Kill Tony's abrasive, man. It's
yeah,
abrasive.
it is. But other than that, pretty good weekend.
That's good.
Week's been wild. More car trouble, but it is what it is.
Sucks, man.
But how about you? It was big 6 years?
6 years.
6 años?
Yeah, 6 años. Look at
Oh
you.
my
You,
God.
yeah, I've seen from work. You are good with your Spanish.
And my
Espanol.
Yeah.
Yep.
Chad, although being part Mexicano, not good with it.
No, I wasn't taught enough. Actually, I do. It sucks. My Spanish teacher would be really mad at me. I don't remember much, but
It's okay.
I can count really well.
That's-
Whenever we throw in bags and stuff like that,
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah, you got to get all the way to 100,
Yeah.
man. That's you know.
It's nuts, man. Dude, we had our 6-year anniversary. It's crazy how fast it flies by when there's no fighting and everything's chill. It's great. We went to Odyssey, the best Italian restaurant to me. Odyssey, right there on 6th Avenue. It's crazy. Our favorite bar and our favorite Italian restaurant is literally a block away from each other.
Yeah.
So we went to Odyssey on Saturday. I had the lobster ravioli with shrimp. Dude. Chef's
Magnifique.
kiss. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. It was so fucking good.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, it was really good. And then, we just ate really good. She made my favorite meal, which was the chicken strip and mashed potatoes and gravy meal on Sunday.
Nice, yeah.
So that was really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so things are good. Things are really
Nice.
good, man. It's awesome.
Hell yeah. Well, it's Wednesday, so we're a little off schedule, but we, like we said, we gave you a half episode Monday. Now you're getting pretty much 3/4 episode.
Dude,
more
we
or
spoil
less.
our listeners, man.
Really,
give
we
them
do.
extra content. We
Yeah.
give them great guests all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You're welcome,
Yeah.
everybody. You're welcome. So, let's get into some sports ball talk, dude.
Sports ball. Let's start with the NFL. Let's do it.
Personal foul, 69, offense. He was giving them the business.
Yes, the business he was getting, and we're giving you a little bit of business. Not too much. Like I said, a little bit of a fly through of the second half of the episode.
What do you have
but,
for NFL headlines?
Justin Jefferson, he got paid.
Oh, dude, yeah.
You know what I mean? A lot of money. And
lot of money.
I think he might have just broken the wide receiver market as he makes now $35 million.
To me,
a
I think the
year.
best part about all this, did you see Tyreek Hill's tweet from yesterday? After
Oh,
he
said
got-
something about him being greedy?
Yeah, you can't win a championship when you're being greedy.
Yeah, but what's he trying to do? Get
Yeah.
paid in Miami?
Oh,
He's just mad because that screwed him.
everybody in KC's like, yeah, you're right, Tyreek. Thanks for leaving because we won
Yeah.
2 since you left. So here's the peace sign that you. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
You're so right. Justin Jefferson, dude, I just don't. I mean, he deserves it. He's great. But here's the thing, though. CeeDee Lamb's won that money too. CeeDee Lamb, Cowboys started OTAs yesterday, hasn't shown up yet, and I thought, oh, there's no way he deserves. He doesn't deserve Justin Jefferson money. But then when I
No.
saw the numbers compared against each
They're
other,
pretty close.
they are really close. The yards he's got him by like 500 yards.
Yeah,
it maybe even 700 yards.
I saw Jefferson's yard or comparison his first 4 years now to Randy Moss. Randy
it's
ate
insane.
him up in touchdowns.
Touchdowns, dude. He was
But
getting
everything
so
else,
many touchdowns.
he's got him by
Yeah.
like a little bit. Where
Justin,
you're like, ooh.
dude, it's crazy, man. Yeah, and that's what we were talking about Justin. So many Justins. Justin Graver earlier is like they got Snead. Snead shut down Justin Jefferson earlier this year, man. And that was the game that he got that hamstring injury. Was against the Chiefs.
Sniper.
So,
Sniper on him.
yeah, I was a sniper or Snead. We'll see.
The other thing I want to talk about, there was some sad news. Larry Ellen passed
Oh,
away
man.
at 52. Super big bummer.
Dude, this is sad.
Yeah, that was a sad one. Didn't we just feature him?
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
episode
so
73.
70
Yeah,
so-
that was his number.
Bummer. Unexpectedly at 52.
On vacation in Mexico, man.
Yeah, that sucks.
Dude, it's really rough.
Definite big bummer. So thoughts go out to his family
Yeah.
and everyone close to him. But the one thing I did want to bring up before we move on, did you watch Darren Waller's weird ass
No, I
video?
did. I kept on meaning to, but
Dude, you
I
should. It's like if you just put like an auto tune, like it was basically Chat GPT. It was AI.
Oh my god.
About his divorce with what's her name, the basketball player, Kelsey Plum. So it's about his divorce with her. He
Here.
has like a stand-in.
I'm gonna watch it right now. I'm just gonna turn it down. All right, we're not gonna get.
Just hear a little bit. Give us.
Yeah,
a
I'm
little
just
bit.
gonna give you like, because
Give
he
me- I
like
can't hear. A
replaced
little bit, a
Kelsey
little more.
Plum.
Yeah. He's just like walking around like in a Letterman jacket. It's so weird. Dude. It's so cringy.
Dude, and this is what's sad. Okay, this is all I need
It's
to
not
know.
a very good song.
Because Kelsey Plum is a fucking gangster. She just won back-to-back championships on the WNBA Las
Yeah.
Vegas Aces. She now owns her own cigar company, which is, I mean, what?
Weird, but
Yep.
nonetheless, way to go.
Good on
Not gonna
her.
say-
That's
yeah.
fucking awesome. To me, this looks pretty sad for Darren
At
Waller.
one point, he like the stand-in like stabs him in the back. And
Oh
then
my
he's like on
God.
the beach, and then he like falls over, and like, it's
Dude,
just, like,
that's
dude,
just sad.
so cringy. But that's all I got for the NFL.
And it's nuts because he was like one of the highest paid tight ends until Travis Kelce's
He might
recent deal.
retire.
No, there's a lot.
The Giants are speculating he retires.
Because he's probably going to him being like, I think I can make it as a singer.
yeah.
And they're like, go ahead.
Auto-tune
Go
can
ahead.
do some amazing things for your ego. I
Dude,
can tell
Post
you
Malone
that.
credits a lot of it. So,
Well, and T-Pain basically figured it out with
and
Cher.
T-Pain's awesome, man.
If you
can't
T-Pain's
hate
got
on
a great
T-Pain.
podcast, but
Oh, nice.
yeah,
I've
he
heard a
just
lot
got
of good
great
things about it.
podcast. I haven't listened to it, but I've seen like a couple clips of it. But let's move on
Let's do it.
to the NBA.
Take it roll! Take it roll! Outlet! Outlet! Rain dance! Sandy, come on! Sandy! Sandy!
I'll let the screen go black for a second.
T!
It's been a long day.
I'm burning.
I'm burning.
It's settled. We're at the NBA Finals.
We're here. We've made it. It's not what I wanted. It's not what we wanted.
No, but we're
But
past
I'm-
that.
Yeah, we're moved past it, but
Yep.
I'm happy with what we've got.
Yep.
We've got one of the best players in the NBA basically going against one of the best teams in the NBA.
Did you know this? That
Tell
when
me.
Luka was 16 years old, the NBA team, sometimes those Euro leagues, he was playing for Real Madrid.
Real Madrid, yeah.
Yeah, I always say it wrong. Was against the Celtics.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now he gets to come full circle and hopefully beat the Celtics, because the Celtics are actually, I'm going to try to get that right without slurring my words too much, trying to create history because they're tied with the Lakers with 17 NBA championships. So
Yeah.
they're trying to break that tie to make it 18.
Yeah, and I mean, this would basically solidify this Boston team as maybe, one of the better teams of this decade in terms of what they've done in the last few years. Decade might be a stretch.
And I feel like that, just the whole statement's in a stretch because of the path.
Don't show, geez, dude. Just
No.
bash me. Why?
I am, because the path they took to get to the finals, dude.
I know we talked about it before.
I
but-
know, but they just walked through. I mean, everybody that they went through was injured, so I don't really feel too good.
Okay.
But I knew we were going to talk about this,
Fair
and
enough.
so.
What are you doing?
Oh
dude?
man, I just got a weird text from South Adams County Water and Sanitation District. Will host a telephone town hall to share updates on. What a fucking bullshit text! I don't care about that.
Dude, can you not drink your water? We can't drink.
I
our
know
water,
that's
but
what I was
another
worried about from
story.
that text. No, Drew Holiday. I'm afraid that that's going to be the X factor. Because I'm going to give
Well,
you
I've got
my
another
pick.
X
I'm just
factor
going to
for
get
you.
right. My
Go
pick
ahead.
is these. I'm afraid the Celtics are going to win this finals. That's my pick. Who I hope to win is definitely the Mavs. But because I think the Celtics are going to win is because Drew Holiday. Joe Mazzulla, I have no faith in him over Jason Kidd as a head coach. But because Drew Holiday's been there before, he can try to ground that team and tell them to calm down. Let's get through it. Even if we're tied up 1-1 after 2 games, we can bounce back. Drew Holiday's been there. He's won one. That's the X factor. Give me your X factor.
Kristaps Porzingis.
Yeah, he said in an interview today when he was asked if you're going to be on the floor, took a long pause.
Did he?
And then a smirk and said, yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe.
He's gonna be there, dude.
Very ambivalent there.
He's gonna be there.
Yeah, you know he's going to be playing.
Yeah, he's been sidelined since the first round with a calf strain. But I mean, just from his rim protection alone, at 7'3", his 3-point shooting, knockdown shooter. But let's just run down a little bit of the statistics between these two teams, if you will. In the record department, Boston 64-18, Dallas 50-32.
Yep.
Dallas lacking there.
Oh, yeah.
Point differential, 11.4 for Boston in first. Dallas, 2.3 in 14th. They're not looking good.
Nope.
But here's the thing. I don't want to go down all of these, but like offensive rating, Boston 122.2. They were first in the league. Dallas 117. They were eighth. There's definite... Jeez, Chad, calm
I know,
down.
I'm just begging shit around.
There are a lot of, disparities when you look at the statistics of the teams.
Celtics got a good roster.
They do. They've got a really good roster.
Deep roster.
But if you can knock them off of shooting three-pointers, they are a different team.
They dip.
Totally different
They
team.
dip.
And that's one thing I think this Mavs team can do. Derek Lively is back healthy again. I think if you want to go for an X factor for the Mavs,
That's
I
a
would
good point.
maybe go him
Or PJ Washington.
rookie center. Who
Is he a rookie?
Yeah, he is a rookie.
I didn't realize that. I
let me
can't believe I didn't realize
Before we go
No,
on, let me just double check. But
No.
I'm almost positive Derek Lively is a rookie.
that. No, I got faith in you. I think you're right.
Yeah, he was born in 2004, dude. He is for sure a rookie.
20 years old,
Jesus
man.
Christ.
That's crazy, dude.
Rookie center,
me
and
feel
he has
old.
been in the postseason alone one of the shining moments. But one thing for the Mavs that I think above and beyond, and it's hard for me to even say, is Kyrie Irving has kind of turned a page for me
Yeah.
in these playoffs. He's
I agree, man.
become a leader. There's a lot of times when they say, when things are going wrong on the bench, he's the one calming people
Exactly.
down. In the
Yeah.
locker room, he's now kind of become this level-headed kind of old vet.
He's the leader of the
Yeah.
locker room.
It's crazy.
I've heard from people that have interviewed the team that it's not Luka that's the leader in the locker room. It's Kyrie.
Yeah.
That when things are down, when they may be down in a series or maybe down at halftime or something like that, it's Kyrie that leads them back. And how nuts is that? This is the same guy that, aside from all of his wild conspiracy beliefs, everybody, if you interviewed everybody in the NBA, you'd get a lot of crazy beliefs. There's no doubt about that. He's just a little more vocal about his. But this dude, hands down, is maybe one of the most badass ball handlers I've ever fucking seen, dude.
Yeah.
This guy looks like and one street ballers out there on the court making it succeed, but also his basketball IQ is so good that he knows when to pass it. And that's the key. Stan Van Gundy said it. I think it was definitely way too much of an outrageous statement because they haven't won anything yet. But the best backcourt in NBA history, if they win it, they're going to really be up there because Luka's really pushing it as the best player in the NBA right now. The dude is a dog, man.
Yeah, if you want to talk in terms of players, which is kind of crazy to say because everybody would think, the best player might be over there on the Boston team, but Luka is just playing out of his
Who?
mind right
Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum?
Jason Tatum, but it is kind of a toss-up.
That's
It is
where
kind
I
of a toss-up.
disagree with you, because who won the Larry Bird Award? It was Jaylen Brown.
Yeah, you're right.
Not Jason Tatum, because Jason Tatum has a history of he actually, when it comes to clutch time, when it's the last 2 minutes of the game and you need points, he's one of the worst when it comes to that. And especially like playoffs in general, he's not been very good, and in the finals. So we'll see. That I think it's not even like I think, it's unanimous that Jason Tatum has the most pressure at him, most pressure on him in both rosters.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of the thing. It's kind of make or break for them. Like, this kind of decides for them. Are they kind of, a power team, or are they just kind of one of those teams that's always going to be sniffing right around the conference finals or the finals, and then that's it?
Well, the Mavs got so many good role players. I think that's going to be another X factor. I think P.J. Washington, Gafford, dude, I'm so bad. And that's like what's good about them, dude, is they have so many like good role players. I can't even off the top of my drunken head remember all of the different ones, like you said, Lively and stuff like that. Like, these guys are guys that, because people don't know their name, are wanting to rise to the top. But with Boston, people know about it, and it's going to be tough to win in that stadium, dude. Boston. I mean, this is what's great. I mean, it is almost like the script writers put this in place, because Kristaps Porzingis playing, he was supposed to play in Boston.
Yeah.
He was supposed to be traded to Boston a long time ago. And then Kyrie leaving Boston, now coming back to play them in the finals. Yeah. This is great. How do you feel if you're Atlanta, dude?
Screwed.
I know this is like a little off topic, but like Atlanta, who traded away Luka to, get Trae Young right after the draft, like, the
They're
day of the draft.
In a bad position, but I mean, they're definitely not in the same position. Trae Young,
the fact that they even made the playoffs was
yeah,
like a fucking joke.
Well, all right, we gotta move on, because we gotta basically hit hockey, and we might have to get out of here with a very truncated
I'm cool with that.
DDOE. But what's your pick?
My pick is the Celtics to win it.
How many games?
6.
6?
Yep.
Okay. I'm going Celtics in 7.
Wow, exciting Game 7. Okay.
I think it's going to be a good series, but I think the Celtics ultimately pull it off.
Yeah, they're too deep, and they got such a good roster.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the NHL. I thought about playing the other one.
Yeah, we haven't heard that one.
From Slapshot, but all right, guys. Well, the curse remains unbeaten. The President's Cup trophy, or the President's Cup trophy, the President's Trophy curse has finally, not finally, it's continued to just defeat anybody who wins it, as the New York Rangers are defeated by the Panthers, and man,
Panthers make their second straight final.
Yeah, they did. And they lose last year to the Vegas Golden Knights, and they're back now, and they are looking really good. They are favored in this Stanley Cup final, which is surprising.
I'm happy to see a Canadian team in there.
I am too, and I think Canada's happy as well, because they've been severely lacking the Canadian representation in the Stanley Cup final. I think the last time the Oilers were in the final was 2006, but they are back.
That's a long time ago.
They got Connor McDavid, 31 points. Leon Draisaitl. But on the other side, you got Matthew Tkachuk.
Yep.
And then their goalie, Bobrovsky, who is just on a tear. Both of them are looking, the weird thing is, though, this is the longest distance.
Dude, you see it? 2,500 miles or something?
And now there's going to be an extra day in between games.
There should be.
And
that's like nearly
it's literally going to take like 2 weeks
of the United States from coast to coast.
It's going to take 2 weeks for this thing to play out.
It's crazy.
It starts June 8th, which I believe is
Saturday.
Saturday. Wow, man, they haven't played in forever.
That's nuts, man. For hockey, that's
a really long time. I think it's like 8 or 9 days since the last team played, but. Here we are, man. Stanley Cup final.
Dude, crazy, man. You got Tkachuk, and then you got the double-headed dragon of Draisaitl and Connor McDavid. I kind of hope the Oilers win, man. I hate to be anti-American. I don't know.
It's a better story.
I kind of like them.
Connor
I like the
McDavid,
Oilers, and they're from the West.
As much as I want to say, the Hart Trophy should go to McKinnon, I think it now belongs to McDavid.
Yeah, no. Other people are gonna say it's the fucking dude from Brandon's gonna be all up your nerves about that shit, dude.
Damn it, what's his name?
I know. I can't always pronounce it, but the Lightning, that dude.
God damn it!
So all these fucking hockey guys with their crazy names. God damn it! My stupid white trash American.
Kucherov. Nikita Kucherov.
God damn it! That dude did. Yeah, he had a really good season. He should get the MVP.
Well, it kicks off Saturday, so by next week they'll probably only be one game into it. So we're not going to go super far into it. But right now, just at a moment's notice,
who you taking?
I'm taking the Oilers.
Really? All right. Well, cool, dude. I was actually planning on taking the Panthers, so I will take the Panthers because Florida's fucking crazy.
They are crazy.
The Florida mans. You took the words out of my mouth, bro. Yep.
Damn Florida.
They will be there. Yeah, all the Florida
They're
mans
all
will be crazy,
there.
dude.
The crazy thing is, Florida does not care that they are in the Stanley Cup final. There's nobody
Have you seen?
cares.
And this is what I love about hockey. Have you seen the female hockey fans in the stands?
Oh, the Oilers fan.
The Oilers fan.
I showed Meryl, and she was like, "Whoa!" And I was like, "Yeah, apparently that just happened."
And their defense got way better right afterwards.
Just dumped them out.
And then there was a Panthers girl right after that too. There was a Panthers fan that did it too, and it's like, dude, hockey's built different.
Yeah, it is.
Yep.
Built
So,
different. Players are built different. Fans are built different.
Little clap for the hockey fans.
All right,
Just gonna say that.
We got to move on because I got to get out of here. I got to go pick up Meryl. I got to turn and burn real quick.
No worries. Let's get to the DDOE.
It's time for the DDOE.
I hit it hard, man. So far, man. No laying up, no holding back. Ain't afraid of nothing.
It's a natural fact.
I hit it long, man. Till it's gone, man. Keep taking chances, living large.
I hit it hard.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, our episode 86 Daily Dose of Excellence goes to the infamous Simone Biles.
Yes.
Who continued her dominance ahead of the 2024 Olympics Games in Paris this summer, earning a record 9th all-around title at U.S. Gymnastics Championships over the weekend. Biles, 27, extended her own record with an all-around total of 119.750, sweeping every individual title along the way. That's insane. I mean, she literally have moves named after her. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, I wish I could do half the stuff she could do. I wish I could stretch just remotely at all.
I wish
could barely touch
you
my
probably
toes.
wish you could just stretch like that.
I wish I could just touch my toes. I think I can touch my toes. I don't know for sure. I haven't done it in a while, but if I did, I might hurt myself.
If I did a backflip, I would break my neck and it'd be paralyzed.
Yeah, no, if you watch some of these floor exercises, it's just like, holy shit, I don't even know how you propel your body. I know the floor is kind of springy.
Insane.
I don't understand how you propel
No,
your
the
body
floor
like
exercises aren't.
I thought there was kind of a springy floor.
The floor exercise is totally just like mats.
Well, I know like the
but the handspring thing, like when they sprint,
yeah,
that's when there's a spring. Yeah.
Okay. Well, apparently I don't know much about gymnastics.
But dude, they're just ripped. They're fucking ripped. I
mean, they're like
it's
5'1", and then their lower bodies look like NFL running backs.
Yeah. So Biles said, "I use the phrase aging like fine wine after the competition. It's just getting better and better. So we'll see. Hopefully we can get to ride this out for the rest of the year." Obviously hinting at the Olympics. So let's hope we see and we can do her as a DDOE again after the summer when she hopefully sweeps the gold because America. Because we want her to win definitely the gold in gymnastics. Because now that we don't have so much controversy and all that drama surrounding gymnastics, they can just like go ahead and succeed without all that.
Yeah.
But hats off to her.
Yeah, indeed, and that is why she is this week's DDOE, and for that reason, this shot goes out to you, Simone Biles. Thank you
Well
very
done.
much. You are the DDOE of episode 86. Also goes out to each and every one of you out there listening or watching. We appreciate you guys each and every week. Make sure to go like, share, subscribe, and follow us on all
Hey,
things
hold
social
on.
media.
And Chris is wearing new merch.
Yeah,
Check it out. I need to get me a tank top. I need it.
go buy one
Yep.
right now.
And thank you, Justin
yeah.
Graver, again. Appreciate you.
Yes, thank you very much, man. We will be sharing the hell out of this. Cheers to you, Chad. Love you, buddy.
Cheers to you. Love
Let's
you, buddy.
do it.
Next week, get at us.
Toodles, everybody.